As you probably gathered from my previous comments, there was a deer here a little while ago. I heard it pass by. I saw it running off way down in the valley, but I did not get any footage of it. If the deer passes by again, I will try my best to get footage of it and incorporate that into the review. Now, one thing that this review has in common with Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is the danger of being attacked by a bear. I have seen a bear up here before. It was just a bear cub. I don't know if it was accompanied by a mama or papa bear, but I did not stick around to see if there was an adult bear in the vicinity. I just slowly backed away and left the woods and returned to my car. If I do see a bear today, you will get a nice first-person view of me scooping up the game and my camera, from the camera's point of view, obviously, and slowly backing away until I am no longer near the bear. I don't think that's a likely eventuality, though, certainly not nearly as likely as it is in Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. As you can see, I haven't opened it. I don't know if you can tell, there's still a shrink wrap on this baby. So we're going to take the shrink wrap off, and I'm finally going to get my first close-up look at the packaging. You can see there's a Fox Unit logo. I'm going to put this shrink wrap in my pocket because you take only pictures and leave only footprints in the woods. The XOF logo on the bottom, that's a nice touch. We've got the Fox Unit from Metal Gear Solid 3, the XOF rival unit commanded by Skullface and Ground Zeroes, still very mysterious since I haven't played this game yet. And then here we have a how to open, instructions on how to open the package. Can't quite get them to focus here, but yeah, you swing the front of the box open. You don't open the top or bottom or side or anything. It's just sort of a book box turned sideways. This is all a paper wrapper. It shows you, what system you've got, what game you've got, in case you're very confused. And then on the back it has all these features, the summary of the game. It's got the DLC list and the photo of the arm, which is of course the reason we're here, the 1/2 scale posable replica of Venom Snake or Punished Snake's bionic arm. And the DLC, the camouflage is nice. I don't see myself using most of that stuff. I don't know if I'm going to play Metal Gear Online at all. There's a lot of that sticky crap on this package. There really is a lot of sticky stuff on this package. It's kind of gross. I have to stick all of this in my pocket to throw it away later. But the DLC gives you a bunch of camouflage. It gives you an Ocelot outfit. It gives you what appears to be that gun that Ocelot is using at the start of MGS3. They call it the Adamska Special here. So I think that's the gun that Big Boss, then known as Naked Snake, pulls out of his hand and takes apart and really owns and humiliates Ocelot, setting the stage for a lifelong friendship. I'm just going to pause the video right now and get rid of the rest of this adhesive because it is really disgusting and I don't know why they used so much. Before we proceed, I just wanted to note that the cardboard sleeve at the bottom of the box lists the Fox Engine logo and Konami, but does not list Kojima Productions or Hideo Kojima himself. This is in keeping with, as we probably all know by now, the fact that Konami has removed all mention of Kojima's name from all packaging for this game. So now that we've got all that excess packaging off, it's time to open the actual box. It feels pretty decent, nice thickness. It's a little wobbly. The back is only this thin paper hinge just pasted on, so it doesn't feel like super secure, but it's pretty hefty. The Diamond Dogs logo on the front is a thick die-cut paperboard of some sort. It would be really cool if it was like molded plastic, so that it would be something that would have some value aside from a box. It would be a neat little thing, but it's a box. It's a nice looking box, and it fits the aesthetic of the game. Now, finally, let's see what's inside. Ooh. So we've got the hand on the left. This is in its own little paper sleeve and plastic tray. This is Snake's bionic arm, wrapped in a thin plastic wrap for protection. Even more plastic wrap there between the arm and the base. The base comes off. That's a nice touch. If it was permanently mounted to the base, that would be a little lame. Here's the arm. It's fully posable. This is great. I'm going to have to go into more detail on this later. It's covered with markings. The paint job is really detailed. Now, we're going to return to the details of the arm later. So I just want to run down the rest of what's in this box right now. So we get this little, this is interesting, it tilts up. It's a paper hinge and a Velcro to get the game itself out. This looks like this is the regular release of the game, interestingly, not the same packaging as the Day 1 edition. I guess because the DLC is obviously not in the package here. The DLC was supposed to be included in this box, but there was a packing mix-up, and so retailers are emailing the DLC codes to customers. I got mine actually just a day after release. Then we've got this steelbook case, which has Boss and Kaz on the front. That's nice. And then in the back, Venom Snake Boss, and I guess that's Ocelot in desert gear. It's nice. Also a little bit of placement for the arm to remind you who it belongs to. And then inside the steelbook, we've got just the Blu-ray. That's interesting. The steelbook does not have a place to put the game. So this steelbook packaging is completely just for the Blu-ray, which contains... Oh, that's really interesting. There's this warning. Spoiler warning right on the disc that Kingdom of the Flies, if you haven't heard about that, that is a bonus mission that was cut from the game and wasn't finished, but is being included on this Blu-ray disc. Okay, the branch that I have gorillapoded my camera to seems to be falling down. Okay, we have moved to more stable ground now, and here is Venom Snake, or Punished Snake's bionic arm. We can get a closer look at it, hopefully without any further tree debris falling and endangering our camera work and our object of review here. Now, this arm looks really great. I'm really pleased with just the construction and the finish and everything. I'm a big toy collector, so this is the kind of thing that I'm inclined to scrutinize with, you know, a very critical eye. But I'm not really seeing anything other than good stuff here. It does appear to be actually a complete half-scale version of the Japanese release, which is, of course, full-scale, the size of an actual human arm. And this one has some features that I was worried weren't going to make it over in the translation to a half-size piece. One of those was that in the photos of the Japanese release full-scale arm, you could clearly see that it had these little hinges to tilt the fingers to the side, which is really useful for, you know, a Vulcan hand sign, or more importantly, the V sign that we see Boss making, or Punished Snake making in some of the art. Now, that's a really nice feature. It's kind of essential for really human-like, vivid, realistic poses. And it's nice to see that there. Now, you really have a full spectrum of articulation here. You have this wrist hinge, and it has... okay, so it has a rotation point at the base to rotate the hand, and then it can rotate it in this direction. But that doesn't move at the other end. So there is a limited, it can't do the, well, I guess it has a little bit of wiggle there. So it's hard to tell whether there's any way for it to move this way, up and down, in terms of a karate chop motion of the palm. But the fingers are really great. That's a ball joint there, okay. There's a ball joint at the base of the thumb, and then the thumb curls around with a hinge that can, wow, bend really far over for a proper thumb pinch. There. I think there's a bumblebee flying around my hand right now. I'm not sure if he's on camera. That's a little annoying. Get out of here. All of the fingers have a similar amount of curl. They can get all the way in there. You can touch the palm in a human way and fit in. And they can curl up in sort of an... I don't know what you'd call that motion, but they do it. So, yeah, all the fingers, they can bend back a little bit, as human fingers can bend back a little. And they can all bend forward, different amounts to give a real naturalistic stance, because your fingers never really all curl the same amount at the same time, usually, unless you're gripping something tightly. And, of course, they can all grip in tightly for a thumbs up sign. And then you can curl the thumb into the palm for the V for victory, or peace sign. It's really nice. It does everything you'd want a robot hand to do, and I especially appreciate these tilty joints at the base of the fingers, that give a lot more nuance and subtlety to certain poses. It's interesting, actually, that those are a little bit inward from the actual hinge. There's the tilt, then there's the 3-finger hinges. And so it does look a little stretched and unnatural, but it's a robot arm. It's supposed to look a little unnatural. Otherwise, you would just be like, that guy's got a red hand, who cares? So on the back of the hand it says, Motive Sinew Protection Gauntlet, Caution, Bolting Torque, and then it gives you some power ratings for how much torque you can use to bolt it, I guess, to remove these bolts that hold the back of the hand on without damaging anything. On the thumb we've got a different caution label. Overhaul must be done at a designated workshop. Well, that's, I mean, you don't want someone who's not authorized by the Diamond Dogs to be unbolting your arm at some kind of illicit workshop in the wilderness. That would be really bad for your bionic arm. Here's Field Stripping Fastener B. You are not allowed to use molybdenum lubricants on this bionic arm. That is very bad for the bionic arm, and I'll have to check on Wikipedia what the dangers of molybdenum lubricants are later on. Oh, Diamond Dogs R&D, Artificial Limbs Laboratory. That's a bit self-explanatory, I guess, that Diamond Dog's Artificial Limb Laboratory would have produced the artificial limb for the leader of Diamond Dogs. I'm sorry, I can't keep from getting distracted by how nice this thing is. It's just all these little molded, indented texture items on the surface of it. It's just really great. It's very vivid. It's very mechanical. Oh, and one of those details is the forearm holding lever latch? Reaver latch? Maybe that might be a misprint. Can't really tell what that's supposed to be, but it's a latch that holds the forearm. That's interesting. And there's the molybdenum lubricant warning. I guess that covers everything. A lot of really tiny text, a lot of really tiny details, a really just exciting piece of plastic here. And I do kind of feel the desire to own the large 1/1 scale Japanese release, but it's a little crazy. That's about $300 for that premium package, and I would have had to pre-order it several months ago, so pretty much missed out on that, and I can't imagine what it's going for now. So I will have to be happy with this arm. And I am happy with it. I like it a lot, and I think it'll fit in really well with generally just robot figures and Metal Gear character figures in any collection. Now, for a bit of a scale comparison here, here's the Revoltech figure of Big Boss from Ground Zeroes, who's about 6 inches tall, about 1/12 scale, standing next to the 1/2 scale replica of the bionic arm that he will receive after, spoiler alert, a horrifying helicopter crash at the end of a series of other horrifying events at the end of Ground Zeroes. So, confronted with the specter of our future here at 6 times what its size normally would be on his body, I guess, it's going to be a nice presence on any shelf. I'd say it's probably around the same height as, maybe a little smaller than the Play Arts figures they make of Metal Gear characters, but it's certainly going to tower over your smaller Figma, Figuarts, Revoltech type figures. For another scale comparison, here's the robot arm on top of my arm. It does look to be just about half the size of an adult human male arm of about average dimensions. The hand really does go well with action figures. It's just the right size for this sort of terrifying vision of Snake in the grip of his tragic future, being pulled toward his own destruction by events of his own making, or something like that. The point is, the hand can hold the action figure, and it looks really cool and dramatic.